Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Lotusthesage. I am excited to do this reading for you all today. We are going to do a reading that is going to help you clarify what your healing focus should be for the next little bit. So I did this spread for myself earlier and it was very eye-opening, so I'm going to give like a gentle trigger warning if you're not really wanting to hear the real truth of what needs to be addressed, then I suggest maybe you watch this at another time, just a forewarning, because when I did it for myself, I was like, damn, okay, you couldn't hide. So with that being said, we have 3 groups. So for pile 1, we're going to use this pendant, this beautiful rock stone gorgie. For pile 2, this rainbow quartz. And for pile 3, this lovely crystal pendant. So those are the choices. So let's give you a little lowdown. We're going to look into some guidance cards as to the main bulk of what needs to be addressed, give you some hope and like what to look forward in the future. We're going to look into this book that I've had forever, since my early teens, the Encyclopedia of Healing Therapies. We're going to roll the dice to sort of get a page and give us an extra bit of focus on what area or maybe a modality to use to help with this particular area of healing Spirit wants you to focus on. Okay, my beautiful collective. I will see you at your piles. Okay, welcome my pile 1. Let's put your charm over here and lay out your cards. Okay, so we're going to look into the archetype card, and we're focusing on the shadow aspects of the archetype. We'll read the positive one just to get a little bit of insight, but the main focus is for healing. So we're going to look at that. Then we're going to go into the Mystic Martians Oracle to either tell us what we could use to help with this particular archetype or situation in ourself. Or reinforce some things that might come up in the first card. This will give us some guidance into the thoughts behind or the approach, something about, again, a helpful tool, and this is to what to look forward to or to be mindful of, and then we'll go into the tarot. Roll the dice, etc. All right, let's get into it. First one is Eternal Child. Inability to grow up and be responsible. Extreme dependency on others for physical security. So, as plainly as it says, there is this, excuse the noise outside, I apologize. There is this real focus on finding your inner strength and your power. So if you have this tendency to be very codependent on others, family, again, not to say that this needs to be the example, but just for the most basics of terms, like if you are past a certain age and there are certain things when it just comes to being able to take care of oneself that ideally should be integrated, learned, and a part of your character. As they say, chores builds character, right? So knowing how to sweep floors and clean up for yourself. That's something you learn. How to, when you're taught how to brush your teeth, it's to keep maintenance so that more damage doesn't happen. It's that kind of energy is what I'm getting at. So there is a dependency on how you either view yourself and your ability to take care of yourself, whether it is an actual type of procrastination, self-sabotage, or actual laziness. Maybe the expectations of what adulthood looks like to you feels too overwhelming, so it may keep you in this sense of wanting to be sheltered and parented instead of parenting oneself. Maybe not having a strong enough work ethic or understanding of the value of money, or how to provide for oneself to get the things that one wants. Maybe you've been provided for a long time. Maybe there's other circumstances that have put you in that situation. Either way, Spirit is asking you to look at the side of you that tends to want to stay in that eternal child's energy, instead of stepping into the light attributes of determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, but the ability to see things to see things with fresh eyes. And that's fresh eyes of you being able to step forward into your life with the strength and worthiness and power that you actually ultimately have. You have much to share and much to grow. So don't keep this plant in a tiny pot when it wants to blossom into a humongous jungle. That's the energy they're giving me. Okay, let's see what the Mystic Martian wants to add to this child eternal. 13, MIB. Stalking, intimidation, and confrontation. I heard at first that you're afraid of confrontation. You feel intimidated more often than not. Maybe you're fairly anxious or paranoid, or feel like everybody's out to get you in some way, which keeps you sort of, again, wanting or feeling the need for that shelter and not being able to provide that security and physical protection for oneself in some way. That's interesting. Yeah, it feels like there is this severe fear of people or situations, and again, and that it might be because of the adult world, so to speak, that there's this, the way that the world is functioning, malicious, no compassion. I can see that perspective too, don't get me wrong, and that might be what it is that is keeping you stuck in this in a type of fantasy that is not allowing you to mature in the way that would get you strong enough to be able to handle this type of particular fear or insecurity or inability to see one's own power. Okay, so let's go into this one. It says, be yourself around others. The biggest assumption that humans make is that everyone sees life the way we do. We assume that others think the way we think, feel the way we feel, judge the way we judge, and abuse the way we abuse. We are afraid to be ourselves and around others because we think others will judge us, victimize us, abuse us, and blame us, as we do ourselves. And this is exactly the fear that I'm feeling in this Men in Black card here. With that, keeping yourself, sheltered in the sense of feeling the need to be protective and not taking the responsibility of your own power and how you see yourself or how you've judged or perceived something. It's about the assumptions. And also, coming back to the light attributes, talking about ability to see things with fresh eyes. This is the key aspect here. And realizing that not everybody sees things the way I do and feels things the way I do. So how can I navigate my own energy within this version of reality that I perceive? And it starts with how you see yourself and how you talk to yourself. Okay, beautiful. I forgive myself for forcing my desire to control my experience instead of trusting in life's natural unfolding. That is exactly correct. You must forgive yourself for that and trust in its natural unfolding for your maturity, for your fullest and grandest life, for your accomplishments, for your conquering of fears and perceptions and breaking down your own personal walls. Lovely. I choose to believe that life is paving my path with a divine intelligence not yet accessible to me, and that in time the loving purpose of it all will be revealed. And you will understand why your particular perception was the way it was, because eventually it will lead you into something that you are not being shown just yet, and that's amazing. Awesome. Let's see what we can look forward to or to be mindful of. Broken wishbone. Wish will not be granted. And this is, hold on before I speak. Sorry, let me get the rest. Firecracker, excitement. Older woman, dealings or relationships with an older woman. So I am getting the wishbone being broken is you breaking free of this past belief and perception. There is this, the wish to stay young in the sense of being overly protective and the inability to be responsible, extreme dependency on your physical security. That wish, you're not going to be able to keep that one. You can't stay here, Spirit is saying. And once you do this healing, and we start continuing this healing, there's this explosion, this firecracker of excitement for a new life. To mature is what I'm getting. To find that maturity in oneself. To allow yourself to step out of the maiden energy and allow yourself to get to that crone energy, full circle, full stop. Being wise enough and knowing how to navigate these previous fears. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Let's see what the focus is. Okay, gonna add the numbers up. 7. 3 is 10. 5. 5, another 10. So we have number 27. We're gonna go to page 27 to see what Spirit wants to add. It says on this page, the balanced body, helping the body cope with stress. Challenges to the body, psychological, biochemical, and structural. The brain, what you take in, your diet, your food, and your actual physicality, skeletal, muscular system. So Spirit's asking you to pay attention to how you cope with stress. What are your stress coping mechanisms? How do you allow yourself to go into this codependency? What is it that allows you to go into this eternal child of the shadow attributes and this codependency and lack of trust within oneself? How are those thoughts perpetuating your reality? Is it changing your physiological structure where it keeps you meek or sensitive maybe to sunlight, a weakness in the blood system, or sensitivities to food? You get me? Again, it plays out in any physical way. And is it making you less physical, less active, less excited about life? This is what they're asking you to maybe think about. Helping your body heal, helping the mind heal, helping the thoughts heal. So it says here, the body's first reaction to a challenge, shock, or stress is the alarm or flight or fight response. Stress hormones such as 𝗵𝗶𝗶 are produced. Tension builds around the head, neck, lower back, chest, and abdomen. Thoughts focus on escape or attack. If the stress is removed, the body returns to normal functioning. 2. If the stress continues, the body copes by maintaining resistance or adapting. Although the body begins to feel normal again and may have adapted to deal with the stress, the process drains energy from the structural, biochemical, and physiological realms of the body. Over time, this will affect the body's ability to function efficiently. 3. If stress is long-term, the body becomes exhausted. Reserves needed to keep adapting to ongoing stress are depleted, and one or more of the body realms breaks down. They just brought me to this broken bone. Interesting. The body becomes run down and fatigued with recurring minor illnesses and physiological burnout. Symptoms may worsen and disease may develop depending on the organs or systems affected. Like we talked about the blood and the systems, interesting. Eventually, even if the stress is withdrawn, the body may be irreversibly damaged. So they're talking about the varying degrees of stress period in the body and how that comes to be. They're giving you a lot of things as to how the stress is in, or how these beliefs or restrictions that you keep on yourself can translate into the body, and helping the body cope with stress is really what the focus needs to be on, which is remaining light, positive, young in the body, mind, and spirit, finding things that excite you, trying to step out of this comfort zone of feeling the need of a type of security that you can provide for yourself. So don't doubt that. Amazeballs. Okay, so let's go into your tarot. We're going to take 4 tarot. Once you start to really recognize and start incorporating or being more aware of when these tendencies tend to crop up for you, what will that create? How will that change your energy? We have the Ace of Pentacles. This is the alchemical tarot. Knight of Vessels, excuse me, Knight of Vessels, Knight of Cups, Temperance, these two came out together. King of Vessels, King of Cups. Nice. With the 10 of Cups. That's awesome. Yeah, what happens is this a chance for a new start. It's literally becoming it's like you're taking the training wheels off now, is the analogy they're giving me. You get to step into this new adventure technically and start to live your life more fully, more lovingly, more openly. It's just this expressive, beautiful, open heart of possibility is what I'm hearing. And then Temperance is now being able to temper what you've learned and what your fears were or still can be, but you have now moved through them, so they're no longer weighing on you, no longer creating the stress in the body and the mind and the heart. And again, brings you into this, from this Knight, brings you into this King of Vessels, which again talks about this maturing of the emotions, of the understanding, which brings in this 10 of Cups, this beautiful, satisfied, loving being that has I feel like is still a really deep connection to family and source, but it's now more, again, like we said, more fully understood. All 10 cups are full now that you can pour out and give, instead of feeling that you needed to hold on because you couldn't support yourself, so to speak, in a sense. Amazing. All right, this is awesome. So let's get your last guidance for your focus of healing, my child one. And the I Ching. We're just going to shuffle for a card today. And we have the Army with constancy. Mature people, good fortune, no mistake. Mature people is the focus here. Okay. It says, just because something isn't the goal doesn't make it the enemy. Balance the focused and intense drive to get it done with a measured, disciplined approach. This will allow you to achieve your objective effectively and with less collateral damage. Good fortune without mistake. What are you aiming for? How can you get more from your strengths? With all your efforts, are you creating the life you want? And this is the goal, right? Are you creating the life you want? taking those small steps, balanced and focused intention. Don't get overwhelmed by all of this, and even if you do fall back into your moments, allowing yourself to recognize and being aware of them will inevitably lead you into this no need to focus on them. Oh, my beautiful pile one, I hope that was helpful and it gave you some clarity on what to actually, some clarity on where to put your focus in this healing process of you and your journey of life right now. I'm sending you all of my love, my beautiful budding flowers. Keep watering your lives. Until next time, ciao. Welcome, my pile two. With your beautiful crystal, we'll put this over here. We're going to lay out your cards first. Okay, so let's look at your archetype first, which is going to be the main focus of what a spirit wants you to pay attention to or what needs the most healing right now. This is either going to give us more insight into the archetype or some advice. This tends to be a little bit more of an awareness of what's happening here, as self-forgiveness, and then what to look forward to or to be mindful of, and then we'll go into your tarot card and get your final guidance. Okay, beautiful pile two, let's get started. Oh, did I say this? We're only looking at the shadow aspects of these archetype cards. Since this is about the healing, I will only reference the light side if necessary and when it feels right. Messiah. Exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. So maybe there's a tendency for you, my viewer, to in some way push your beliefs or ideas onto people, and if they either don't see your perspective or somehow acknowledge it in some way, that they are the ones that are delusional, or I'm hearing dumb. Spirit is saying that is not the case, and you're misunderstanding what perspective can mean. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. So if this Messiah complex or God complex or whatever the case is, maybe you are new to this to a specific spiritual modality or belief, and that belief is strong and great, and it's taking you into beautiful areas of life and making you feel amazing, and your underlying intention is to share this particular gift of a type of joy you feel, or freedom, or connection. But again, a reminder that everybody finds it at their own time, as did you, and finds it in their own way. And when somebody is influenced or coerced into something, into a belief, it no longer feels authentic and genuine. If you are not able to see where your participation is in this complex of exaggerated belief, meaning that you're trying to sell it so much that it's blinding you from the actual lesson, which is to serve humanity with humility. Okay, let's see what the Mystic Martians has to add. Anunnaki, controlling, drama, conflict of interest. How fitting for the Messiah complex. Interesting. It feels like a very domineering type of speech or rhetoric or ideologies, and you are not allowing yourself, or you are not yet able to see where these conflict of interest can be ways of growth instead of a reason to separate or disconnect or disengage. Because the Anunnaki are known for invading Earth. They're very smart, invented a lot of things, but they destroyed Atlantis. They were like miners of gold for its interdimensional properties. It's like because the main thing that I remember about the Anunnaki is that they had this sort of sophistication with genetic engineering, and they sort of like created this, this sort of hybrid human that was smart enough to follow instructions but not smart enough to rebel. It sort of kept them in this sort of like box, metaphorically speaking. There's this duality that you're not allowing sometimes, I feel, to see the right way forward. Spirit is asking you to take in the lighter attributes of the Messiah and serve humanity with humility. Let go of the control and the drama around whatever this belief or idea or life way of being is. The conflict of interest is where the growth can happen, is where this healing needs to be focused based on what I'm seeing so far. And allowing yourself to embrace the freedoms of others and yourself, which brings us into our next card. Embrace your freedom. You gain a huge amount of freedom when you take nothing personally. No spell can affect you regardless of how strong it may be. And if you live without fear, if you love, you will be happy with your life. And this is it, to allow others to be free, to not take things personally, to live without the fear or creating fear, as in you're the only way that this can succeed, or my way is the right way. It's finding the love back in what you are doing again. The real reason that you actually wanted to share this was because of what it created for you. But you cannot force that on anybody. That's the biggest thing that I'm feeling right now. I forgive myself for undervaluing my love and underestimating my strength. Undervaluing your love, and that is what I think you have done. I feel like you've almost overestimated your strength in some way, to be honest. But I feel what they're referencing here is underestimating your strength of living by it, believing it, you not needing to deliberately try to pull people towards your side, so to speak, or to get people on board to believe you in some way. That it sort of gives you more validation and power and strength in that way. It's external instead of internal. And they want you to see your internal strength. I choose to believe that I am only beginning to know the loving purpose I serve in this world. And I am expanding into my powerful wholeness with each and every passing moment. Correct. And this is just the learning. This is what it is. It's about you learning how to use this force in a more humble way. They're asking you to find the middle ground in between. Don't fall too far on either side of any spectrum. The middle ground, the neutrality, is the way to move forward, to move up, to ascend, to grow, to merge. Okay, let's see what to look forward to or to be mindful of. Arrow, you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. Yeah, once you allow again, this is not a bad belief, like the thing that you're trying to, express is not the thing that's wrong. It's the approach to what you're doing with it, or how you're trying to get people to see your side in some way. That's what needs to alter. But your trajectory, if you allow yourself to really recognize, or to step back, to be fair, to allow the space and the freedom for everybody's perspective, you will see where your path leads. Pin, new job, career. So maybe this, again, is talking about getting people to your side, advertising, promoting, that was the same feeling. Maybe there is something along those lines of you trying to force energetically, is what I'm saying, force something or an idea, belief, to get people to see something, but your approach is not the way. So once you find what this point of contention is for you, where you feel at a conflict or in drama or feeling the need to control, that's when it's your cue for you to step back, to allow life to unfold, for the path to be presented to you, for clarity to come in. And then we have January. So maybe this coming January, or maybe the completion of this particular insight in towards this healing might occur. This past January may have been where this truly started to begin, or seeing the resistance or the conflict emerge is kind of the strongest feeling I'm getting, but you can take that timing as it resonates for you. But again, this is something to either look forward to or to be mindful of. So I feel like it's looking forward to this next January. You know, this a new opportunity, career, job, something will come out of this path that is leading you towards a more balanced energy of the Messiah archetype. And evolving and learning from the Anunnaki and their wisdom and experience and way of expansion and growth and mastery, but coming back to the humanitarian side of coming to heart, compassion, understanding, openness, love, perspective. Awesome. Okay, we're going to roll the dice now to see what the Encyclopedia of Healing Therapy wants to add or give you some insight into. So we have 5, 10, 8, 2, 10. We have 21. Gonna look at page number 21 and see what they say. It says the future of medicine, integrating ideas and methods. So they're bringing me a whole bunch of things. They're talking about, when I was saying about trying to push your ideas or methodologies or beliefs on somebody, maybe it has to do with these integrating of ideas and beliefs. Integrating ideas and methods, meaning that you need to allow the other perspective for you to gain a better grasp on what it is that you can actually provide for these beautiful humans, you know, and what creates and makes a whole person, you know. This sentence popped out, and this is in reference to when I was talking about using the conflict of interest for the growth. This is where this is. The opportunity for conventional medicine to learn from different complementary therapies will largely depend on the willingness of both complementary and conventional practitioners to explore this potential together. This cooperation and dialogue will demand open-mindedness. The current popular attitude of uncritical acceptance of all things complementary and the perverse sense that natural and holistic therapies have the moral high ground encourages complacency. This may not seem to be a problem for those who regard the future of complementary medicine as an alternative to mainstream medicine, but an attitude of constructive criticism would actually be more helpful where cooperation and innovation are on the agenda. That's what they're bringing me to here. This is what this feels like. You're trying to show something, but you are still cutting off a particular aspect that would be really beneficial to make this whole, this complete, to lead you in the right path for this possibility of this new career, this new job insight, this new job, and then the insight within it. So they're asking you to try to integrate the ideas and methods. That's what this focus is on the healing of this Messiah archetype. Cool. All right, let's get into your tarot, which is going to give us some insight, or excuse me, going to give us some more depth into, once you start being more mindful of these archetypes in yourself, or when they start to crop up, and you start to integrate this, what will transpire, or how will this evolve or change your energy? Nice. 10 of Cups. Seven of Cups. The Hermit. Excuse me. and justice. So what I'm seeing here is, like we talked about, this wholeness, right? This completion of the idea, the belief, the practicality, the understanding of multiple perspectives now comes into this one vessel and is able to share. And that allows you choices now. And the best choice, as opposed to the one prior, is the Anima Mundi, which is that main cup there with the eye on it. You know, it's the right vessel to hold, contain, and share the information that you've gained in this silence, so to speak, in this retraction, in this looking back within oneself and re-examining how you've been using this particular type of energy and knowledge and wisdom and how you're wanting to move it forward. Once that understanding has been fully grasped, fully integrated, you step into this place of justice, you know, weighing the right from the wrong in a sense of yourself, you know, of where you were out of balance when it came to spreading your good word and trying to get people to find their own Messiah within. It creates a beautiful balance within you, and it comes out more calm. This feels a lot more fiery energy, and this comes out balanced, literally tempered. Lovely. Amazing. So let us get your final guidance card for your focus of healing the shadow aspects of the Messiah. We have 21, biting through, creating success, fruitful to use legal proceedings. I think this is, they're talking about that diplomacy within the self. Like, be a little bit more like clear cut with yourself so that you can really get to the nitty gritty of what it is that's actually preventing you from really being heard, in a sense. It's time to bite through to the truth of the situation and deal with any obstacles fiercely. Truth. And that's you. You are this obstacle at the present. It will help to use the determination of an investigator or a judge, intent on restoring the world to good order, who will let nothing and stand between them and the truth. That is what you need to do, is find your own truth as to the reason why you might have been playing in the shadow aspects of this Messiah. What must you do to get to the truth? How can you become more effective? That is what it is. That's what you want, to be heard, right? To be more effective, for people to come on board. And this is it. You have to find the truth within what it is that is preventing you from truly integrating the ideas and methods in a more encompassing and inclusive way, without shutting people, energies, or beliefs out. It's about finding the way to merge that belief with the way that you see it, because we're all really talking about the same thing. We're just talking about it somewhat in a different language, so to speak. Some of it's through yoga, some of it's through tarot, some of it's through specific religions, some of it's through breath work, some of it's through people will have ultimate belief that this is the way to do it. And this is why we have all of these beautiful modalities, because it worked for them, and there's going to work for some, as it always will. But your idea right now is wanting to include all, as many as you can. And right now there is something about the way that you are approaching it that is keeping it still barred off from some, and from many that your work and beliefs would benefit. So step back, allow the freedom, observe, gain knowledge, appreciate your mastery, but do not rest on that. Do not overstep your wisdom either. Find the right vessel and the right way to communicate what it is that you're seeking. Beautiful, my pile 2. I hope that was helpful and giving you some clarity and focus on what it is that Spirit wants you to be healing right now. I'm sending you so much love, my beautiful budding flowers. Keep watering your lives. Until next time. Welcome, my pal 3. Okay, we're going to put your chime over here, and we're going to lay out your cards. Okay, so your archetype card, the first card is going to be we're going to look only at the shadow side, and it's going to be the main focus of what Spirit wants you to put your healing energies towards. The Mystic Martians deck is going to either give us some more insight into the above archetype or some extra depth. This card will give us some insight into how you're feeling or things to be mindful of. This is a self-forgiveness, things to forgive yourself for. And then the tea leaf cards will be things to look forward to or to be mindful of. We'll roll the dice, look into the book, and then get into your tarot, and then your last guidance. All right, pile 3, let's see what we got. We have Destroyer. Intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Wow, okay. I'm getting the feeling of a self-saboteur is the main push. And self-sabotaging can happen in a myriad of different ways. It could be your obsessiveness with what that feeling of power creates. It can be allowing yourself literally to be intoxicated with substances and other certain things that make you feel empowered. You can be, I guess, sorry for all my Nancys, but like the negative Nancy in this, where you always find like the shadow side of something, and it sort of diminishes people's excitement or potential for growth in some things. You could have having too much pleasure with somebody else's downfalls. And it can be, you know, in your perspective, somebody that's deserving of their quote-unquote karma. You know, there's almost like a relishing in that in some ways that I can also feel from this card. I'm hearing the word shit disturber. It's like you're trying to create conflict because something for you is either not exciting enough, is not bringing you enough joy, and your only way of feeling something, I'm getting a sense of numbness here. The only way that you're feeling something is when things are kind of explosive or extreme. Spirit is asking you to look into why that is for you. Can you find a way to use your destructive power in a way that is releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for a new life, preparing for new circumstance, as opposed to relishing in the destruction and what that creates in the moment of it being destroyed, as opposed to seeing the potential for new growth, meaning that the intention behind the destruction is for the benefit of all and not for the appeasement of a few. Interesting. Let's see what the Mystic Martian has to add. The Ebbins, mystery, reading between the lines, intuition. I'm getting again back to the self-sabotage, you know, of maybe misusing your own intuition that's creating a need for this destructive habit within oneself, where you destroy something that's really good in your life because you're fearful of something else, you know, fearful of them destroying it first, or you being manipulated in a negative way, or not seeing something for its truth. I think Spirit is really wanting you to question all of your motives. Like something is in its infancy stage and you're not quite seeing where the dynamite is being lit. You're just seeing the explosions or feeling the explosions, so to speak. It's like discriminating data. Question oneself. Healthy skepticism. Within yourself, though. Trust your intuition and your hunches. Try to read between the lines of your own life of why this has created this destroyer archetype within you, whether that be in a specific area of your life or in general. Okay. says create a beautiful dream. Your words can create the most beautiful dream, or your words can destroy everything around you. Talk about destroy it. Interesting. Impeccability of the word only creates beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Yeah, it's how you speak, what you do, how you think, what you choose not to say, what you choose to deliver, and how you deliver it. And that's what it is. It's like your words are sharp for some of you in particular. And it's about what you're saying that deters people sometimes, where you know that your power is strong enough and you can do that, and you sort of do it anyway. It doesn't mean that you may not necessarily feel guilt about that later on, but it's still like it's almost a reflex is what I'm getting. The only impulse that should keep you moving forward with any sort of destructive nature is one that comes from the heart. Anything that is coming from your mind entirely is one based on ego and a shadow aspect of oneself that you may not be willing or able to see currently. The mystery within yourself is what is creating this destructive pattern. You want to know and see yourself more clearly and want to feel your purpose and are triggered in some way by people who feel the potential of something new, of finding their purpose. It's almost like you pull them back down to disbelief and and plant seeds of doubt in yourself, which has been done to you from childhood. You must cut out this particular weed that is interfering with the blossoming of you. That was a channeled message for some. Again, please don't shoot the messenger. Okay, let's see what the forgiveness says. I forgive myself for wanting others to see through my eyes by sharing my perspective. And when they come back to the words, right, words can destroy everything around you. Is that your perception of maybe because your doubt is so strong, or your past experiences have led you to this skeptical, cynical nature when it comes to allowing one's true vulnerability to be seen, to be expressed, to be explored, to be created. Things have stifled your own ability to see your own power. You do not need to take or diminish others for a temporary fix or a temporary dose of adrenaline. I choose to believe that allowing my unique perspective to be contrasted by another allows for clarification of what I really desire, ensuring I effectively create my dream life. There's a lot about allowing the differences of others in the collective in particular. You might have resonated with 𝗏𝗏, or maybe been drawn to 𝗏𝗏. Spirit is wanting you to see the confidence and the strength and beauty within these people who are either sharing their creative pursuits or ideas with you, that you don't automatically go in to break down what they are trying to present. It's a matter of what is the possibility for growth within this, and if I do need to constructively break down something, let it be helpful. Let it be useful for them to actually accomplish their goal instead of deterring them, myself included, from the desired outcome. Okay, let's see what to look forward to or to be mindful of. Mice. Discord among friends or family. yeah, this is what the destroyer would do. It would create this discord. It'd create a discord within yourself or with the people around you. Who chooses to speak to you anymore or tells you these things? Who decides to confide in you? Jug, lighthearted, carefree time. That's what you need to do, is to lighten up, is what they said, lighten up, to pull back, to find more optimism within possibilities, within the differences, within the mysteries. Trust the intuition. Don't stifle it out with the sabotaging thoughts. Tiger, do something risky, taking a chance. And that's you, taking a chance on yourself to come out of this destroyer energy, out of the destroyer thoughts, the saboteur, the doubt, the bitterness. Try something different. Change the perspective. Allow the contrast of others to clarify what you really desire, instead of just snuffing out any possibility of a type of change or something other, an alternate. Okay, let's roll your dice and see what page Spirit would like to add, meaning either giving you a modality to combat this particular area of healing or insight into how you can help yourself. Okay, so we have 8, 3, 7, 8 and a 4, so we have 20, is that right? Yep, 20. Go on to page 20. It says, health and adaptation. So again, talking about adapting, right? Perspective change. Adapting with these new perspectives and trying to transform to get into the light attributes of the destroyer, which is releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. That's where you want to be when you're using this destroyer archetype. And I feel that you've had a tendency to be in the shadow attributes a little bit more, especially when it comes to yourself. But I am also seeing that it's a trickle effect. It's that lava that pours out, and who that touches and how that affects others in your world and environment is also a factor. It says, there is a tendency today to worship the idea of health and to deintegrate the failure to be well, as if being ill is a sin. The concept of mind-body connectedness is a core tenet of complementary medicine, from which has arisen the notion that we should assume responsibility for somehow causing our illness. Although the way in which conventional doctors can treat disease as if it were a self-contained problem, rather than part of a human being, may depersonalize patients. At least it avoids this particular new potential for victim blaming promoted by some holistic practitioners. So yes, so there is not necessarily about, again, it's not about the victim, about blaming you. It's about looking at the seed point of how this was created within you. There is no blame, there is no shame. It's a matter of awareness and acknowledging what it is within us that allows us to respond, react, and be certain ways, even if we don't like that character within ourselves. Sometimes, again, like I said, it's reactive or a reflex, or not even fully conscious of as we're doing it until we feel like, why do I feel shitty right now? Or where did this boost come from? And is this boost a positive boost? Or am I benefiting off of somebody else's lack? The challenge for future healthcare is to find the middle ground between placing too much onus on the patient and conventional medicine's tendency towards technological disempowerment. Health is, after all about the ability to adapt, which might mean coming to terms with less than perfect functioning of the mind or body. Again, acceptance and recognition of what is. Beautiful. Okay, let's get into your tarot once these lessons have been fully recognized, integrated, comprehended, and now able to live through. How will this change your energy? Nice. The Sun. Union within self, that 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, marriage within the mind, body, and soul. Also bringing better companions and people around you that will suit this beautiful life force energy you have. Lady of Coins, which is the Page of Pentacles. Fresh new beginnings and new starts, tangible new ways of moving forward. Two of Wands, yeah, passion ignited with another in particular. It feels like now you know where to, or how, I should say, how to use these energies and to give back in that energy of, in the light attributes of preparing for new life. It's creating that fire and that warmth and being able to sustain that type of illumination. Instead of it being explosive, it is consistent and steady. Which leads you into Judgment. That's right. With this reawakening, this resurrection, this coming to terms with what is the reality of who and what you are, and where these seed points and triggers have started, and how to put them to rest, put them to bed, to no longer move from a reactive knee-jerk responses, but to recognize one's own patterns and merge the ideas and the space between the mystery of self, the mystery of the hurt, and the reasoning behind the actions. Okay, let's get your final guidance card. A beautiful 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃. It says, integrity, number 15, creates success. A noble one completes it. And this is completing the task of getting to the nitty-gritty of what it is that creates this eruption in you. To have integrity is to be at one with yourself and with reality. It means being honest about your capacities and not exaggerating the importance of your role. Not caught up in a personal story or identifying work with worth. You are free to do what needs to be done. What is the simple reality? How can you return to a state of balance? What if it didn't all depend on you? Release some of that need to control outcomes or avoiding pain or avoiding hurt. Give some of that to Spirit, to Source. They're here to help and support you. But you need to address what is, like we talked about, what is the reality of the situation? What is the seed point of this trigger for you? That creates, I feel, a part of you that you don't always love and has not been helpful. Hence the beginning first of self-saboteur. Oh, my beautiful pile 3. I hope that was helpful in giving you clarity and insight into what Spirit wants you to focus your healing on currently. Adaptation with your health now. And in the perspective, in the way you view yourself, find that seed point. Find that root of the explosion. I'm sending you so much love. You keep watering your lives, my beautiful budding beauties. Until next time, this is Lotus. Ciao.